Hey everybody, how's it going? How's it going? Happy 4th of July. Welcome. All right. Glad everybody came to see me, came to hang out. Jason, PD, TT, George, anybody else. If you want to chat, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button and you know what? We will chat. That's the only requirement. You just got to be a subscriber. A few seconds later, while I'm live, you can chat. Hey, Dave, happy 4th. Happy 4th, happy 4th. So we got the beautiful sunset from the farm, from my house right there behind me from last night. Probably going to be about the same today with the clouds and the thunderstorm rolling through. And let's pop over. Here are the small slideshow. We've got what's on tap today, 4th of July. We have 80 plus days since a 3% pullback on the S&P 500, and it looks like we're going to go higher. But indications are mounting that we are going to see a big pullback. They keep stacking up, keep adding to the pile, and the FOMO is in full swing, as we'll talk about here in just a minute. Then, as always, 30 minutes of your requests, so that's why you got to make sure you can chat, so you can throw in the requests, so you got to be a subscriber, and while you're at it, you might as well hit the bell with the notifications. If YouTube thinks you'll watch it in the morning, you will get notified when I go live first thing in the morning at about 9:10, 9:15, something like that, before the market even opens, and cover what I see moving for the day. Hey, Valerie, good to have you on this 4th of July especial. So I expect it to be a light crowd, but hey, if you throw in your requests, I will go through them. And let's talk about the fact that FOMO is in full swing here. Right here, we have the positioning of asset managers. This is a survey. Right now, we've got 35% going long. Usually when we go extra long, we see a big decline. This is topping out where we topped out in 21. And it's topping out where we topped out back here. So only right before COVID have we been more bullish, more long. These kind of spikes usually result in a pullback. Got to be careful here. The AAI investor, whatever they call it, the investor survey sentiment thing, bull bear spread, we are coming up on a spike. We are not nearly as bullish as previous tops, but getting on the bullish side. There's no safety net. Like, people are not bearish that when everybody tips the boat to one side, that usually creates a rollover situation. It just has happened over and over, and we'll talk about it here in a minute as we look at specific charts and some of the metrics I look at. So, as always, altering it involves a substantial risk of loss. Don't play this game if you can't afford to lose the money. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, and fun. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. Don't buy anything from me. Don't buy anything from any other guru. You can watch this free content right here on YouTube and not ever buy anything. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. And by hiring them, they have a fiduciary duty to take care of you based on your financial situation. So, hey, Andre, look like you might be new. I don't recognize your name. Glad to have you on this 4th of July. So, I usually hit the high points in the market before we really dive into your requests. So, right now, we are seeing the S&P 500 poking out, closing a little higher on yesterday, on that early close. This is a simplified chart just based on the closes, and right now, it's kind of pointing us up to this 45.99 area. We could push up there. Of course, the higher we go, the bigger the fall, and kind of cautious that we might see an outsized pullback as we go higher. Hey, Psychic Crystals, glad to have you too. Glad to have you. I always love new people. I love to see you, and hopefully I can help you, because so many people are out there just to take your freaking money. I'm telling you, I've met a ton of people. I'm in this Scout's Honor just to try to help other people get ahead in the market, not to try to take people's money. But this whole thing does cost money, so I do charge people to get into my Discord and stuff like that. My family has to eat money, and that takes money too. So S&P 500, as I said, this is not the simplified chart. This is the chart we've been drawing on and sketching on and kind of tracking this 3% potential pullback, which we've got to move it up a little higher now. So a 3% pullback can take us back down to about 43, 43.25 at this point. We, missed that 3% pullback. Why do I say 3% pullback? Well, I've been talking about this last week and this week now. And let me pull it up and see if I can find it. That was not it. Let me grab this chart over here. There we go. So on average, every 47 days, on average, we get a 3% drawdown in the S&P 500. Right now, this was from last week. We were at 73 days. Now we're at 80 days, pushing way up in here, moving up to the, getting close to the 90th percentile, which means 90% of the time we have done a pullback by now, date-wise, because we're at 80 days from the March 13th low to the current high, which was yesterday. And today, market is about to be open in 55 minutes. If you didn't know, futures reopen in 55 minutes. So we just thought it was a holiday. They were open till 1 o'clock too. So futures were going today. And what did that mean for the markets? So let's jump down there and look. Crypto did get hit this afternoon. So ouch. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. There we go. A little bit of a red candle on ES today. Was a shortened day, only open till 1 o'clock. Making we didn't push higher yesterday or today, higher than we were on Friday. It's interesting, but the S&P 500 did close higher on yesterday. So why do I look at the futures? Well, when we zoom down the time frames, this gives me a complete picture, whereas the S&P 500, it didn't trade today. So we didn't get any data, but the ES, these futures did trade all day. They were chopping just right at the range, kind of going flat since Friday. And we got that big red candle after the close there, and then we popped back up, and we just kind of been sitting here yesterday and today. What's tomorrow going to bring? Well, we have an OPEC meeting coming up on the schedule. So looking at the rest of the week here, we have some things that might move the market. We have OPEC meetings. We have FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We have ADP, non-farm employment change. We have unemployment claims. We have ISM services PMI. We have the JOLTS job openings on Thursday at 10. And then on Friday, we are getting average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate numbers. So there are some numbers hitting the rest of the week. And then as we roll into next week, we get back to normal, regular old week. And on Monday, not a lot happening. On Tuesday next week, again, not a lot happening. Wednesday, though, we got CPI coming out. That's usually a market mover. And then Thursday, probably PPI. Yep, right there, coming out. All on the back of, and then we get a consumer sentiment again. So all coming out next week. Stuff just keeps hitting the market. So circling back over, golly, this thing keeps jumping around. That's the S&P. Nasdaq not making that high that we saw in the S&P. Kind of interesting here. Coming up much lower high. Now ES making a higher high right there on Friday. Then yesterday and today not making the higher high. But Nasdaq significantly lower high and stuck at the 786. If this thing rolls over, this could go way on down. Could make a move on down to this 1458 area. Now we could see a much larger than a 3% pullback. The 3% is just what, we've been that many days without getting the 3%, but that doesn't mean that the pullback isn't 5%, 10%. Be prepared. Everybody's tipping the boat to one side. The FOMO is, FOMO is real. I've had, followers and clients and everybody telling me that they really feel like they're missing out on this rally. That's exactly what the market is doing. It's sucking everybody in, and it's going to rip everybody. If you can't afford to sit through a pullback that could be months long, you need to wait for better prices, because we're going to get a pullback. It's going to happen. We're not going to go up forever. It never does. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah. I will hit all the requests I can. Out of curiosity, what are your top synthetic stock picks out for 2025? Let's see. Boot. B-O-O-T. B-O-O-T. This one I've got out. I think this is going to be a pretty bullish chart for heading on out here. I'm in a synthetic on that one. I'm in a synthetic on Mara. And Mara can go triple digits. And we're at 15 now. I'm in synthetic on, I think on BITO. Maybe I'm just holding call. I might just be holding straight vanilla leaps on BITO. I am in a out to 24. I'm in a synthetic on coin. And I just added a BNB yesterday. And that one could rally up to 200. So there's a few of my picks. I'm trying to think. I'll have to look at, ask me in Discord. I can actually throw you screenshots of the actual calls and stuff. So if you want to join Discord, you're not in Discord, you're new here, links in the description. For $5 you can get in there for 3 months, and I think it's like a $20 upcharge for a whole nother year. So it's like, what, 3 months plus a year, 15 months. And then you get a weekly watch list of awesome setups like this one right here. Every week with a video. And this is what I call a market roadmap bounce right here. We pulled down to this roadmap line, this orange line that's on my chart. I use lots of time. And we have broken above the 618 fib. This kind of tilts the scale for this to go up to 155, possibly 169, but it also has a measured bounce setup, which means it pulled up and came back to the 618, found support and breaking above this consolidation. And that tips the scale, and the targets turn off this one and resets it to these targets, possibly up here to this $200 area is what that sets it up to be. Now, a bearish case, it would stop at 183. The bullish case, which means it would come up here, pull back, and then get continuation even higher, would be for it to come up here and find resistance at 220. So this is one of my favorite charts right now of this week, and it's a really beautiful setup. Really, really beautiful setup right there. I added that long position yesterday, just yesterday. Well, all right. You'll have to ask me in Discord. I can't remember strikes and stuff like that. I don't actually have platforms right here. This is a broadcast setup, and I actually trade in my other office. So I have this. Oh, this is all beautiful green screen and stuff like that for your viewing pleasure. So Mara, let's see. I'm probably Mara, not Marriott. Mara, I'm probably in a $10. I think I've got the $10 long call, $10 short put, and probably an $8 long put underneath that, out to 20, like whatever the furthest date I could get. I don't know if it's January or June on Mara. I can't remember. Some stuff has June expirations. Some stuff has January. This one may be a January. So there you go. Coin, I'm not sure I'm out to 2025. I may be just into 2024 on coin. It's looking like you can break out. Same kind of setup. A little bit lower. I mean, it's just now trying to break out above these highs. If it breaks out above those highs from February and March, we have this last one from a year ago in August to contend with, but this could go up to 200 also. So another very nice setup. So Mora hit the $15 target yesterday. It hit 15 finally. I've been talking about that target for months and months and months and months and months. I think you know, since we were back down here, probably March, put that $15 target on there. We hit it yesterday. The more ideal, more bullish, you know, that's a bearish target. If we can rally on up into the bullish target area, that's between 20 and 30, we will probably see a pullback from that level and then go up big. I mean, like real big. The pullback could be deep though off of this. It could be a 618 pullback off of the whole move up off the low from way down here at like $3, $2, $3. That moved to $3 up to 30. We could see a 618 retrace back down maybe to the single digits. Let's run a quick fib line on that. What it would be. Oh, no, it's a little higher up there around $13. So we could see it pull back to 13 right in there. And a little higher than I thought it might be. That's if we got to all the way up to 30. If we pulled back before that, the levels, of course, would be lower. It would be, you know, like if we stopped at 20, that level is down there around 9. If we stopped at right now at 15, we could go back to 7. I want to see it continue higher. That's my vote. I am long like 10,000 shares. So, all right. There we go. I'm not playing short puts. I mean, my position's like $10, like long $10 calls. That's for the synthetic. I own a lot of shares too, and a lot of other things, other leaps, and I've got a 6-figure position on Mara. Let's cut to the chase. I have over $200,000 tied up in positions on this ticker right here. Do I want to see it go up to the prior highs and exceed them? Of course. That's exactly what I have planned. I have plans for this to hit 120 at the minimum and maybe up in the $240, $300 area. So I have high expectations on this, but the reality of the current situation is we'll probably top out at 30, get a pullback before we can mount a larger go. If we can do this kind of move and we get back to that $13 area, look, this puts it, that bullish target right up there in the 275 we're talking about. If we do a 618 pullback, that sets that up with a measured bounce target 275. 144 if it's just bearish. I mean, so yeah, that would be nice. I know. I don't talk about this much because I'm trying not to be overly optimistic and hopeful. Let's talk about the reality of the situation where we are. 30 is an optimistic target. I don't want anybody to risk more money than they can afford to lose just because I threw a crazy target on the chart. All right? But that's the kind of setup that this has right now. That's why I want to see this pull up to about that 30, back to that 618 level, around 13, and then go. When we break out above this, game on. Game on, baby. We're going well over triple digits, more than likely. That's my excitement on Mara. It's a long-term play. Like I said, I'm mostly holding shares. I do have some leaps and some synthetics and some other positions. I believe in this company, though. So, it might happen at 15. It might happen at 20. It might happen at 30. That's the levels. You know, it's it doesn't have to pull back. It can pull back at 15. It can stop here. That's not overly bullish if it does. I would much rather see it go to 20 or 30 before we get that pullback. That's much my preference, all right? It's less bullish if we pull back now. All right? You clear on that, George? So pullbacks become likely here and really higher probability, even higher up here, because that is a confluence of a few things. It's a confluence of the 1618 and it's the confluence of this head and shoulders pattern right here that it kind of made that was sloppy, and the right shoulder, maybe it's more of like a shoulder head, but that thing kind of plays out right up in here. So, all right. 31 has more confluence to it. I would really like to see that and then get the pullback and then launch off, and that really sets it up. So, all right. I don't know. My team is not working today. If you give me 2 seconds, I can check and see if anything went through. I actually get a message from the sales system. I don't actually see the sales system, but I get a message. I don't see you, Andre. All right, 80. Yeah, there you go. PD is up 88% on some leaps. That is beautiful to hear. Glad to see that. All right, that's enough talk about my positioning. I've got other things. I mean, I've got irons in the fire. I'm always looking for opportunities. Boot, that one, I pulled that one back up. I'm like an $60, yeah. I went long a $60 call. 60? No. I bet it's a 65. I bet it was a long 65 call, short 40, or long 65 call, short 65 put, long 45 put. I think that's right. Maybe it was a 70 and 50. I don't know. I'll have to screenshot that for you in Discord. But this one, lofty, the bearish target right up here around 115, more bullish up here around 135 to possibly 160. I called it right there when we bounced. That's when I entered. It was back in May. Looking for that one to rally and go. All right, moving on. Covering the rest of the markets, we hit NQ. So Russell potentially going to break out here, 1955, 1991. And if we can really get bullish, back up to the 2100 area. This one is lagging S&P and Nasdaq. So this one can lead us. Even if the Nasdaq and S&P started pulling back, we could see Russell outperforming. This is small caps, like IWM would be a way to play this with an ETF. ES is SPY. NQ is QQQ. That's the common ETFs that you may have heard of. Now, oil was having a good day, and we have OPEC meetings starting tomorrow. OPEC meetings can lead to a bullish pop. They did last time over here, and then they decided that OPEC was full of crap, and we went down as Biden kept selling oil out of our SPR. We're kind of in this wedge too, where we're making lower highs and higher lows, and we're running out of runway. We could hit the end of the runway by late July, another 2 weeks or so. Then we need to break out or down. Now, this pattern doesn't always start moving immediately. Sometimes we just go sideways like cost here, just kind of drifting out of the top here. We didn't explosively move out of this wedge. The cost keeps drifting a little higher. I'm cautious until we get broken above this high right back here for sure on Costco. Or we can drift up there, come up there, hit that, and turn down. So cautious on Costco. That's not a bullish pattern coming out of there. It's actually a rather bearish pattern. All right. So same sort of situation on the smaller time frame in oil is kind of a bearish, maybe a bearish slant to this, but we could just pop out and go up. I don't know. Brent, looks even more depressing. Gasoline broke down out of the little wedge thing it had going. This one can go further down at this point. It'd be nice to see. That's cheaper at the pump, right? I would love to see this drop on down to $2, but I had a target before to push down into this 190 area, but we didn't do that. We kind of started breaking higher, came up. We were working on this little choppy wedge. We broke down below, came back, retested, made a little wedge thing, and maybe break down. So if we break down below about 230-ish, probably going lower on gasoline. Be great to see, right? And NG, I'm not sure this is going to pop. I hear too many traders expecting this to pop into the second half of this year. I'm not sure it's going to do it. It may roll over again. Losing my bullish hope on natural gas. GC, this is gold. Made a beautiful market roadmap bounce right here If we can break back above that 1950 area, game on for higher prices. We're not doing it yet. So this thing could still go down one more time, could make a lower low, could push 1900, maybe even down to 1850. Still cautious until it proves it to me that it's going to reverse. And silver, same situation here. We need to get back above that 2450 area up there. Did not really expect it to go down one more time, but it did. So just kind of sitting, waiting. I do have I got a bullish position on silver out to 2025 too. Expecting this one to rally to 35 once it actually gets moving here. So it came up shy of the 618 before, and now it went and tested it. As long as it holds that, breaks back above this 24, these highs right here, it's game on. 35 is the target. $35 an ounce. And copper, that's not a bullish pattern so far. It could be, could be setting up a measured bounce, but I'm not feeling it yet. Just not feeling that one. Has a bigger bullish, bigger bearish pattern going here. This came up to the highs back here in March 22, came down, did a 618 retrace, pushing down, making lower high. It may take another leg, and that another leg could go down to $2.72. This one gives me caution, though, because usually copper leads the market, and right now that's not a bullish-looking chart, and it makes me uneasy on what might come in the second half of 2023. All right, that's kind of hitting the highlights. I pretty extensively covered crypto this morning. If you want to watch that, go check out the live tab on my YouTube channel after we're done here. I went in pretty extensively, and I'll hit some crypto in the morning. So, all right, covering people's requests. So I see PLTR. Now I do have a lofty goal on that one, at least getting up to 22, and then maybe seeing a pullback from there. We did find resistance right in this zone. Kind of went a little aggressive on the top of it, but found some resistance. If we can break above 22 would be the next zone. That's kind of where we topped out, right in here. If we can break that zone, then we'll have to contend with the highs up here around 40. I am in some long-term leaps on this one also. I don't always think of that one because it's just like I locked it up, put it away, and just kind of waiting on that one. Looks like I have something white on my... Got some, I guess I was sweating earlier. Got some salt showing through on my black shirt here. All right. AMD expecting a further pullback here. This is one leg down. This could be a 618 retrace here. Resistance on the upside is about 123, and support is down here right now around 95 on AMD. You can zoom that up so you can see it a little better. Those levels right there. We pulled down right there. 618 retrace up here around 123. If we find resistance there and turn down again, down to here, if we can break above that, get above the 786 to 139, possibly 148 on the upside. I had that little 3 sticking up there, kind of waiting for it. But higher probability that we see it drop back to the roadmap line. I kind of feel like, feeling it. All right, Nugget and UGT. We could turn it around here. This is leveraged. Be careful. Leveraged stuff does not always follow my patterns. So I had to throw that word of caution out there that this is leveraged. Be careful. All right. BKNG. Yeah, it's just a chug higher. That came up a little shy of the roadmap line. We may see... we're trying to push above that 786. That's like the last line of resistance. 2870 could be the upside. 2879. 2870, 2979, excuse me. That's big numbers. Would be the resistance if we break out here, and support down here around 2450. This will keep coming up. That'll keep riding up like this. Support just keeps coming up. All right. MARA did that one. FDX, FedEx. Maybe like FedEx keeps having bad news, but they keep rallying. What the heck is going on? It's because you need to trade the charts, not the news. So that one hitting targets. Kind of had two different targets there. And that was a measured bounce target too. Could go as high as 255 there. But we're going to be running out of steam, and a pullback gets highly likely after those measured bounce deals play out. So we could see a little higher, 255, 265. If we get on up in there, though, watch the pullback. Pullback can be vicious on that one. All right, Rivian, RIVN. Yeah, nice. I had a kind of head and shoulders target right up here at 2086. Looks like we may get there. This is a resistance zone. If we can clear it, then we can start looking for more bullish stuff. But really, I want to see this pop up, get a retrace, hold support, find support, and then start moving up again. Before these guys have lost a lot of money, and I don't know. They're gonna need a Hail Mary to pull this out, get profitable, and stay in business. And need a guardian angel with bags of cash. So these were targets on the way down. We kind of stopped right there, and potentially reversing. We'll see. This is a resistance zone. I'll be very cautious until we get above it. Like I said, my target's really the top of that candle. That was the head and shoulders pattern playing out at 2089, 2090. Beyond that, it's gravy train, but it's risky for a pullback. So that's what I got to say on Rivian. All right. Visa. Beautiful. There's the target. And it's all virtually right there. It's been a target for a while. Now it could do the more bullish setup, go up to 257, possibly 275. But I kind of expecting a reaction at 240-ish, pull back, maybe an extension out to 247, pull back. Just keep working it, because this thing likes to get its pullbacks. Look at this. It doesn't extend very far without getting a pullback. So that's kind of the way Visa works. Sometimes the pullbacks are nasty too. So haven't done a nasty pullback in a while. Be careful. We can get one. All right, boot. I covered that one. Beto. Excuse me. Beto's kind of stuck in this box here, waiting for Bitcoin to really take a run. Like I said, Bitcoin getting a little bit of pullback today. Need to see this go. Target zone's up here at 20 right now. 20 is kind of the bearish target. 22 is the more bullish target, and 26 is the really bullish target. We'll probably see a pullback from there, and then this can go thermonuclear or higher. So that's Beto for you. ATVI, I covered it in depth this morning on Beto. Activision, yeah, they're rallying on this Diablo game they put out that I've spent almost a day and a half of my life playing so far, and yeah, it's a good game. They have microtransactions and all sorts of stuff, and I'm not spending any more money after I just paid $70 for a game. They've sold something like 9 million copies so far, estimated, and it's a pretty suck you in kind of game. Like lots of people playing. So that's good news. The deal, Microsoft's trying to resurrect the deal to get it back on track to close. I'm not sure they can, but right now that game is quite that's a Blizzard game, and Blizzard hadn't put out a game in a while, and they are a moneymaker. Blizzard games are moneymakers for Activision. That's why Activision bought Blizzard way back when. All right. I don't believe in that, but I mean, the pattern is that if that's the pullback, we break out over this level right here. You see a move up through 85. Probably going to see 90 and 95 before we see resistance. 90 or 95. Could find resistance there. The classic pattern would be move up like that, pull back like this, and then rally back up. Arrow. Rally up like this. then find a deeper correction back to the roadmap line. After that, somewhere out over here. Something like that. All right. J&J, Johnson & Johnson. This could be a measured bounce, and the target will be up here where I've held a target for a long time. Just kind of lines up with that target. Kind of let me down on this. This correction went deeper. Didn't make downside targets either, so cautious right now. Cautiously bullish. I really want to see a breakout above 167, this high right here from April, before I'm optimistic that we're going to get up here in this target area. And that target, this measured bounce setup, really just puts it back to the high. It doesn't even get an extension. So the bigger pullback all the way to low, if we really got bullish, could go up to 196, possibly 208. But I mean, that's a long way from 163 right now for Johnson & Johnson. This is not a big fast mover like something like Tesla. So JPM looks like it's going to get up here to the 150 area. 150, maybe pull back and then get up to 157. And I'm cautious that it finds resistance in this area and turns down, because we can go lower from here. It could be a 1, 2, 3 wave move, and we could go lower low. The banking crisis has not been resolved, but if this does turn super bullish, my longer term bigger target up here around 192. So that's a $50 gain. That's about a 33% gain from where we are now on JP Morgan. It is a behemoth in the world. Hey, Kimberly's here. Good to see you. Muchas gracias. Catching up with chat. Peter Mora, ES did all those. FNGU, that sounds like dangerous stuff. Leveraged microfangs. Did a little pullback, and we can get the extension up to 214. Zoom this up for you so you can see better. It's been a long time since we visited the roadmap line. That little pullback, though, can take us up 214, 227, or the next target's up. That would be what I would expect. All right. SoFi. I kind of expect this one to come back to the roadmap line at some point here. The upside resistance is at that $10.50 area right there. Kind of exceeded the $9 target. Came up, didn't even hardly slow down, came up shy of the 1050 target, and this is kind of a 618 retrace. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna go down more. So this came down back to 618. This is like a upside down measured bounce setup for a lower target, and that sets it up to get down. Yeah. Where the big arrow is, right down here around $7, maybe $6.60. $6 if it's really kind of bearish. So be careful. Back to the roadmap line is probably where we're headed. That's what I'm thinking. Now, lower price stuff doesn't always work. It's kind of funny. There's like biotechs don't really follow the patterns. Leverage stuff kind of mucks up the patterns. The leverage kind of messes with the proportions. The fibs don't always work right. That's why I use the underlyings a lot, like ES, oil. I go to the underlying stuff. Then there is low price stuff. Low price stuff also a little bit questionable, especially under anything under like $5. The patterns sometimes they work, but it's really iffy. Anyway, GIS, General Mills down, finding support at this line that I drew on this chart from back here. If we don't hold that, we could come on down to this line over here. So we need to hold this area on General Mills. Otherwise, we can drop on down to 70. If we can hold right here, we got some work to do. Resistance is up here at these prior highs, right in here. Got to get back above that to be bullish and go on extensions. But so right now, I wouldn't even trade this with your money. If you're like, JT, trade this for me, I wouldn't touch it right now. It's not high probability down. It's not high probability up. It's high probability sideways. Consolidation right in this, between this support and this resistance. It could just bounce in here for a little while till it figures out what its life choices are. So, all right, Google. Yeah, probably going back to the roadmap line. It's not playing with the rest of big tech. Like Apple, that's a different chart. Microsoft, that's a different chart. NVIDIA, that's a different chart. Google, not playing along. Even Amazon. So Google on a different path than the rest of the FANGs. Even Meta. Google doesn't look like any of those. So something else is going on with Google. Probably going back to the roadmap line. All right. There you go. That's most of the FANGs there. Then IMGN. IMGN. That stuff I said about biotech a minute ago. Yeah, right here. Biotech. That's a crazy move, and I got nothing. It can pull back, or it can just keep being crazy. That's probably moving on news of some sort of drug or phase 2 trial. Yeah. The biotechs, they tend to move more, like they'll kind of do the patterns, and then news will come out that fundamentally changes what they had going on. So this is like Gamblers Anonymous is what I would consider biotechs. So MA, it's not a world that I without having some sort of insider knowledge about what kind of drug treatments and stuff are in the works or happening, what things are happening, what's cooking. It's like when Lilly announced they were gonna be able to produce when we were down here, and I was like, Lilly announcing that they're announcing a weight loss drug thing to compete with Majorum and Ozempic, like that's gonna be bullish, and that's what happened, and it keeps rocking. It turned down at that 272, pulled back to the 1618, and now we're rocking out. Probably gonna find resistance maybe at 480. The higher we go, the more likely a giant pullback happens. But 545, 585, and then we could go on up to the ridiculous target, 756, way up here. Entirely possible. We just keep climbing the fib ladder, but once we get to the top, it's gonna be a giant drop. So. All right, MA. That one's got targets right up here, 401, 412, and then the more optimistic measured bounce target at 428 to 450. So you've got the pullback bounce off the roadmap line, but then you also have a measured bounce 618 retrace situation that sets this up to go to that 428 target and break it above the highs. That's pretty much tilts it to going long there. And 430, that 430 area. Be my ideal target. 450 is like that's the sweet spot. Then we'll probably see a pullback back in here somewhere, and then rocking on. Like hitting 450 is bullish for moving on higher beyond that, but likely to get a pullback if it does that. So, all right, that's MA for you. Pretty nice. BA. Kind of the same situation, but it hadn't started going yet. It's got these kind of nested setups in here. I had a 425 target. We came up a little shy before we retraced back, and we didn't quite touch the roadmap line again. I don't know. It could just turn sideways a little bit before it pushes on out. 234 on the upside. Goose thinks that they're a little overcooked right now and may get a further pullback. So we'll see how that actually plays out. Goose, for those that you don't know, he's one of my. I mean, he's a follower. He's usually on here. I think he's studying for a pilot re-up, or he's got to get recertified. So I'm sure he'll watch this later. Hi, Goose. Lieutenant Colonel Goose. All right, retired. IBM. That's found resistance. Didn't quite fill the gap. Didn't quite fill the gap. And drop back down to the roadmap line. I don't know. Could go sideways a little bit. This is the lowest low, it looks like. Yep, higher low. After doing that, yeah, see, this is why I always caution that 1272. That was kind of like, led to a big, deep retrace. Now trying to go again, but I don't know. It's not looking overly bullish at the moment. Yeah, SMCI, I can talk about that in a minute. Now. Get to the target and climb the fib ladder. Look at that, up to the 200% and the 577 retraced. Yeah, it's probably gonna push out to 599 or retrace all the way back down to the point from where it broke out, 495. And by the time it does that, the roadmap line may be up there. Somewhere in this zone, right in here. May come back and find some supports. And careful, that's like working on a little head and shoulders pattern there. You see it? There's a topping pipe. These are reversal patterns. That's why I keep an eye on them. Right here. That could be a head and shoulders. That's an Elliott wave reversal pattern. That can lead. Oh, look at that, right back. Ah. Be careful. Be careful. All right. If you're chasing now, be careful. That one could come right back down to this 495, 500 area. If you were looking short, that's great. But I'd be very cautious chasing that long. PEP. Yeah, that's finding resistance at the 50. Came back to the roadmap line. The next attempt should set it off if it can break above. The resistance goes up in this zone right in here. I'd probably be looking for something above 192 for 201, 207 on the upside. SMCI, super micro. I mean, I'm cautious because that red candle yesterday, if that had been a green candle and a close right up in here, that set the stage to go up to 284, possibly 303. That being a red candle, cautious. We can get that next leg down on SMCI. Can take it right in this zone and possibly down to the roadmap line. It's very overcooked for the onto the upside for what it does, and it left a giant gap right here too. That gap and that fib line up together, and we may go back and visit that area. Please be careful. FT and FT. Put my fingers back on the right keys. FT and T. And keeps chugging the targets. Need to turn off that. And 1618. Find a little resistance. Go down smaller moves. 1272, retrace. The next move out, probably 77.80, 77.82 with the upside. The higher this thing goes, the bigger the pullback is going to be. MOS. God, that's a garbage chart. I mean, let's be honest. that could be working on. It doesn't even look like a good head and shoulders at this point. That's really a garbage chart. You know, for gosh sakes, be careful. I mean, that can go lower. All right. Let's see. ADBE, Adobe, yeah, rocking it, consolidating here. Kind of poked up and sitting right here above this. And this was the kind of on the way down. It dropped in here, found resistance, coming back up, found resistance, found resistance, found resistance, and dropped on down. Now we've popped up and we just jumped right up through it, and now we're sitting right on top of it. That can lead to a bullish move, but it can also retrace back down in here. My arrows are a little sloppy. We can retrace back down into that zone. I kind of expect it to do that and just kind of reaffirm that we're going to hold that zone and then pop on out. So that's what we got right now on Adobe. CDNS. Wow, that's looking a little bit like head and shoulder Z. Be careful right there. Be careful. If that thing holds and turns back down, be careful. And it can just get an extension. I mean, easily do that. Could easily extend out to 248 or 255 on the upside, but it also could turn back down since we stopped right at the 618. We turn down and go back lower. The distance from the head to the neck, and I drew it all sloppy, so I'm sorry. Head to the neck, move that off the neckline. It could come right back to the roadmap line. Look at that, all confluence together. We could see it drop right back in there. All right, NTR. Ooh, come on, man. Don't chase stuff like this. That's chasing a reversal that's not there. It looks a lot like MOS. Gosh, be careful. Yeah, that looks like that chart can go lower. Yeah, very similar to MOS. Be careful on chasing that one till the reversal actually sets up. We need to be above that roadmap line on the daily. The small time frames may tell a better story, but in the scope of 30 minutes of awesome, I only look at daily charts. The daily picture right now, not awesome. And that consolidation right there has me concerned that it's not got any kind of motivation to go higher. We're right at that, consolidated here, dropped out, came back up, making lower consolidation. That can easily drop out again and go lower. I like to see it move up and make the 618 retrace. Now, if it did something like this, came up to the roadmap line, then did a 618 retrace, which would be something right back in this zone, found support there, and turned higher again, that would be bullish. But right now, that's kind of got me nervous because that's lower than this previous consolidation. So, all right. Any more questions? Any more? We've not been going an hour. I expected a light crowd for 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. I will be back at it again in the morning. Regular market open. In fact, the market opens in 7 minutes. The futures reopen. We'll have stuff moving in the morning. I will be live talking about it. OPEC meetings tomorrow. Oil stocks can move. Oil itself can move. Remember, that is a $2 trillion a year market. I talked about that briefly this morning. This is the value of crude sold in 2022, $2.1 trillion. Compared to iron ore at $283 billion, gold at $196 billion, copper $183 billion, aluminum $153 billion. So crude is definitely the biggest natural resource market there is. All right. Think about it. the crypto market, the entire crypto market, about $1.2 trillion of market cap. And this isn't even market cap. This is like sales in 1 year. We sold $196 billion mined and sold that much in 2022. The entire gold market, something like 12, maybe it's $20 trillion, much larger than the crypto market. Silver is even bigger than the crypto market. So have a great day, everybody. Don't blow your hands off. Tell your kids, your grandkids, don't blow their hands off. Spend time with family if you can today. I'm going to do that very thing. We're having a family cookout. So, yeah, tomorrow morning is another day. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great one. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. And